The cleanest psyop is the one that feels like your own thought. Let me say this slowly, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. If this were a real psychological operation, the greatest one in history, it wouldn't look like soldiers, or secret rooms, or a villain twirling a mustache. It would look like you're scrolling. It would look like you arguing with strangers. It would feel like you thinking you figured it out all by yourself. Because the cleanest psyop doesn't tell you what to think. It teaches you who to be. That's the trick most people miss. You don't need to control facts if you control identity. Once someone adopts an identity, I'm the kind of person who sees the truth. I'm not like those people. My side is the moral one. They will defend that belief even when reality contradicts it. Not because they're stupid, because their ego is now attached. And Chase Hughes keeps hammering this point for a reason. People don't protect ideas. They protect who they think they are. So ask yourself something why does everything right now feel like us versus them? Why does every issue feel existential? Why does disagreement feel like a personal attack? That's not an accident. That's tribal activation. When people are pushed into tribe mode, their brain stops asking, is this true? And starts asking, is this ours? That's psyop rule number 1. Emotion before information. If a message makes you angry, scared, humiliated, righteous, or before it makes you curious, congratulations, your nervous system is being used as a steering wheel. And here's the part people hate admitting. The platforms don't care what's true. They care what keeps you engaged. Outrage keeps you engaged. Fear keeps you engaged. Dopamine keeps you engaged. So the algorithm doesn't need to lie. It just needs to amplify the loudest emotional edge of reality. Until it becomes the only reality you see, that's not mind control. That's attention control. Chase talks about this constantly. Whoever controls focus controls behavior. If I can keep your attention locked, I don't have to convince you of anything. I just wait until you convince yourself. Now let's talk about authority, because this is where people really get played. Authority today doesn't come from truth. It comes from follower counts, blue check marks, microphones, polished confidence. Your brain is wired to trust certainty. So when someone speaks boldly, fluently, and emotionally, your brain shortcuts logic and says, must be real. That's why misinformation spreads faster than truth. Truth is complex. Manipulation is confident. And once authority is established, the final lock clicks in. Tribe. You're not just consuming information anymore. You're joining a team. You repeat the phrases. You mock the oak. You defend the narrative even when it starts feeling off. Because leaving the tribe would mean admitting, I was wrong. And for most people, that feels worse than staying trapped. That's the psyop sweet spot. When people would rather be wrong together than uncertain alone. Now here's the scariest part, and this is straight from Hughes' playbook. The most manipulated people don't think they're manipulated. They think, I'm just paying attention. I'm just informed. I'm just passionate. But ask yourself this. Do you feel calmer after consuming the news? Or more agitated? Do you feel more capable of thinking? Or more reactive? Do you feel more human? Or more hostile? Because real information increases clarity. Manipulation increases arousal. And here's how you start protecting yourself for real. 1. Slow down your reaction time. Anything trying to rush you is trying to bypass your reasoning. 2. Watch for emotional spikes. Rage, fear, disgust. Those are levers, not evidence. 3. Notice identity language. People like us, real Americans, anyone with a brain knows. That's not persuasion, that's recruitment. 4. Question certainty. Absolute confidence with zero nuance is a red flag, not a flex. 5. Ask, who benefits from me feeling this way? Not who's evil, just who profits from my attention, anger, or division. And here's the final truth people aren't ready for. The goal was never to control everyone. The goal was to make enough people predictable. Predictable voters. Predictable consumers. Predictable enemies fighting each other instead of looking up. If this really is the largest psyop of our time, it won't end with tanks or arrest. It will end when people quietly reclaim their attention and stop letting emotion outsource their thinking. Because once you can sit with discomfort, once you can say I don't know without panicking, once you can listen without immediately defending, you become very hard to manipulate. And that, right there, is the one thing no psyop ever wants you to become: conscious,